industry's elite, and it drips with Hollywood history. The pilot episode of Remington Steele was filmed on the grounds. The building's exterior served as a playground for Lindsay Lohan's mischievous twins in 1988's The Parent Trap, and HBO's Westworld converted the hotel's lawn into a British Raj-styled theme park. But few ever to visit the hotel can rival the iconic status of the group who made their way to a tightly packed row of gray directors' chairs that winter afternoon. On one end of the stage, James Holzhauer, who had just thrilled the nation with a 32-game winning streak that saw him shatter record after record en route to becoming the fastest player in the history of the show to win $1 million, sported one of his signature V-neck sweaters and tight smiles. To his left sat Ken Jennings, with the ease and confidence that come with owning the all-time record for Jeopardy victories, thanks to a dominant 74-game winning streak in 2004. They were joined by Brad Rutter, wearing a checked plaid suit purchased earlier after an ABC wardrobe consultant insisted on an emergency Nordstrom run for all three, a former record store clerk who now holds the record for the highest overall Jeopardy winnings. The trio had gathered in the room of television critics to promote their primetime showdown, billed as the greatest of all time tournament, under the eye of the other two men on the stage, longtime host Alex Trebek and executive producer Harry Friedman. Having had some practice with the unusually high seats, both casually crossed their legs, while the younger men dangled their feet awkwardly. Friedman, just the third executive producer in modern Jeopardy's history, single-handedly dragged the show into the 21st century, pioneering a slew of major innovations, from doubling the prize money in 2001 to lifting the 5-day cap for returning champions, which fundamentally changed the way the game was played. And with his long-planned exit from Jeopardy just months away, the greatest of all time tournament would serve as a crowning achievement for a showrunner whose more than 2 decades on the job had been a persistent fight to broaden its pop culture appeal while nurturing the bookish DNA that endeared the show to generations of nerds. But the center of gravity, as it has been for the 36 years since he began hosting the show, was Trebek. People might not have originally expected a smooth-talking, lightly sardonic Canadian to capture the hearts of American television audiences, but Trebek did just that with decades of knowing winks and gentle, sometimes less than gentle, corrections of mispronunciations. For the show, Trebek has been a constant unlike any other, a sometimes mustachioed, sometimes prickly, always steady presence, the keeper of a finite blue-purple world where the passage of time could be counted both in operatic ephemera and, maybe, the number of different living rooms where you found yourself watching over the years. The assembled crowd engaged in a cursory discussion of the contest, asking how Jennings, who had won the previous night's opening round, and Rutter, who in 20 years of Jeopardy competition had never lost to a human opponent, intended to counter the newcomer Holzhauer, who had scandalized some viewers of the show with an aggressive playing style and betting strategy. The veteran contestants, who in reality had taped the competition a month earlier, talked about the ways they might tweak their strategies, noting that selecting from the middle of a category rather than the top improves your chance of hitting a daily double. But the concern looming over the showcase, in fact, the reason it probably existed in the first place, was evident from a mere glance at the group. Attached to the lapels of Holzhauer, Jennings, and Rutter was a purple ribbon, intended to promote pancreatic cancer research and a gesture of solidarity after Trebek's announcement a year earlier that he had been diagnosed with stage 4 of the disease. Trebek, then 79, was asked about the outpouring of support he had experienced in the wake of his announcement and responded with trademark self-deprecation. He wrote off tributes to his decades of hosting as the type of recognition that anyone who had, like him, spent more than half my life hosting a program would receive, and he waved off accolades as a reaction to his illness. "The pity factor is out there," Trebek said. "I'm not unaware of that."
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.